which is offered by the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. So, in this national dialogue, we need to understand what do we mean by competency-based assessment. At the Kenya National Examination Council, our mandate is on assessment, and in CBA, we are interested in determining the ability of learners by trying to see to what extent have they understood, which skills have they developed, which values have they acquired, what is the nature of their attitudes, and can they be able to perform tasks in real time. We are also interested in doing all this by gathering information from these learners in form of different types of assessments. And this is what we refer to as the learning outcomes. In this process, we are using different types of assessment tools, which we will guide from time to time, depending on the level of assessment which is carried out. Of great importance for us to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is how is this competency-based assessment contextualized? We thought through it and we came up with a framework. And that framework, we look at the overall purpose of education. We came up with a competency-based education. That's why we are here today. And for us to be able to attain that, KICD came up with a curriculum, the competency-based curriculum, which Eunice has taken you through what it entails. Now, that curriculum which KICD has given us will be implemented by teachers in the field. So, what is the kind of curriculum which is being experienced at the ground? People normally say, fitu kwa ground is different. And that is why when we carry out assessment, we are trying to find out to what extent the students have known. Those of us who studied education, you remember Professor Njoroge of Philosophy of Education. How do you know you know? That knowledge dimension. And that is why now the competency-based assessment comes in that triangle, where now KNEC comes in. Which part of this curriculum has been achieved? How has it been achieved? What has the learners acquired? And it is from this that now we provide feedback. What we are saying is this: before we now go into the nitty-gritty issues of education and assessment and everything, first of all, we have to understand the purpose. Why are we carrying out the assessment? For learners at preschool, for learners at lower primary, for learners at upper primary, junior school, and now senior school. What is the purpose? It is from the purpose that now we sit down and ask ourselves, what are we going to use to measure the learning? What is the mode of assessment which we are going to use? And from where we are seated, we have three components of it. We have the day-to-day assessment at the classroom level, which the teachers normally do. After every lesson, the objectives, The strands and the substrands are to be assessed to see whether learning has taken place. That is the classroom assessment. Then we have the school-based assessment. This is now where KNEC comes in handy, because we develop the assessment tools. We forward to the respective schools using the ICT establishments in place. From the school-based assessments, we will be able to be monitoring the progression of learners. So competency-based assessment here means, here in KNEC, we don't sit and wait for learners up to the terminal end when they have reached grade 6 or grade 9 or grade 12. We have introduced a component of school-based assessment where we will be working together with the teachers, with the parents, to measure the progression of learning. What we normally do, as we send out those assessment tools to the schools, the teachers, the head teacher's responsibility is to download the assessment tools, give to the teachers, they administer the assessments, they mark. Upon completion, they give us the scores. From there, we do the analysis and we do the reporting. What we are saying is this. These tools, which we normally use for assessment, are a variety. We use questionnaires, we use portfolios, we use projects, we use written tests, we use orals, and many other methods as listed there. Those are the assessment tools we have come up with. And it is from there that now we come to the process of reporting. We need to report. We need to tell Kenyans the preparedness of their children at lower primary, at senior school. So from where we sit at the Kenya National Examination Council, ours is to provide a feedback. Where are we? And from this feedback, therefore, what we have done is we have established critical levels where we are going to carry out the assessments. At grade 3, we have the Kenya Early Year Assessment. The purpose is to give the country the preparedness of our lower primary education. What is happening in our lower primary schools? What are the interventions? And from there, we give reports to the Teacher Service Commission, to the Ministry of Education, to KICD, and also we also get feedback from the teachers telling us, in the assessment tools you have given us, we need to refine them. We move to grades 4, 5, and 6. This is where now we have the school-based assessment, where we now get to scores from the learners. What are we saying? At grade 4, we prepare the assessment items, we send to the schools, as I had said. Now, from that, we get 20% of the scores at grade 4. At grade 5, another 20%. Now, at grade 6, we hover the summative assessment, which is called KPSEA, Kenya Primary School Education Assessment. Then from there now, the learners transit to the next level. What we have done at the Kenya National Examination Council in terms of parental involvement, using the assessment numbers, the parents also can be able to check the progression of their learners, because the interface between us at KNEC and you as parents and stakeholders is, if you have your auntie, you can key in the assessment number and be able to see from the screen how that student or how that child is progressing. At junior school, we now have the first learners at grade 9 in 2025. And they are going to sit for the very first assessment. At grade 7 and grade 8, we offer the school-based assessments also. We have offered already to them. Those who are in grade 9 have scores for that. And Those scores for grade 7 and 8 will give us 20% of their scores. What they have done from primary level, that is from grade 4, 5, 6, starting from grade 1 to grade 6, will give us 20%. That is the combination of the entire GIPSEA and the formative assessments gives us 20%. The school-based assessments at grade 7 and 8 gives us 20%. At grade 9 now, we will have a summative assessment. That is why we with marks determination of junior school. And it is important for us to note that at the Kenya National Examination Council, at the beginning of the year in January, we were able to give out how the assessment at grade 9 will look like. The sample papers are with the schools, because we have a link with every institution in this country. So what teachers need to do, go to the KNEC portal, download the assessment questions. I don't know, Capture chairman is here, which I know is the owner of a school. Are you around? Have you done that? Yes, that is the evidence. We needed not to transport the question papers directly to the schools, but using ICT infrastructure in place. So what are we saying? What we are saying is that these assessments have actually been structured. We have thought through the curriculum, and we know. We are waiting. As we move to the senior school, we will have an assessment at grade 12. Of great importance for us to notice this: the special needs learners have not been left out. We have also catered for them at the stage-based level. And that is why, if you listen to what Madam Eunice was presenting, she was able to clarify that they have a curriculum in place for learners with special needs. So for us also, we have come up with mechanisms of how to assess these learners with special needs in the stage-based curriculum. So what we have done at the Kenya National Examination Council, at the stage-based curriculum, we have the Kenya Foundation Level Educational Assessment, the Kenya Intermediate Level Educational Assessment, and then they will proceed to pre-vocational level and then the vocational level. So in short, what we are saying is this: as we are administering these assessments, Kenya National Examination Council is very aware of which learners we are going to deal with, because it is the head teacher's responsibility to give us information on which pathway in terms of the education system the child should go, whether it is state-based or the regular pathway or the age-based system. Now, why we are offering school-based assessments is because we want to work together with these teachers. We want to monitor the progression of these learners as they move from one stage to another. So what we are saying is we wanted also to have professionals, teachers, who are adhering to the established guidelines and regulations. We want to enhance supervision. We want the scores to be accurate. We want to uphold professionalism and integrity with all mechanisms in place. And having carried out these assessments for quite some time, remember we are now at grade 9. What we have noted at the Kenya National Examination Council is this: our primary school teachers who are handling learners at the CBC, offering the CBC curriculum, these people are very objective in the school-based assessment. If you look at that diagram there, it gives us a normal graph, meaning that when we look at the school-based assessments, teachers are very genuine. And that is why it informed us, if these teachers can give us authentic scores, which are very reliable, at grade 6, and it is 40%, why should we have security officers during the summative assessment for 60 marks? Surely. And that is why we said we will not engage them. We are in the process of looking at grade 9, and we will be informed by the statistics as we get along. So we want to thank our teachers who are handling the CBC learners. The CBC curriculum handled at your levels, performing very well. And we appreciate and thank you because you are very, very genuine. Now, moving forward, we want to inform you that we are ready for grade 9. The assessment will have to take place. And the subjects have been listed. We have coded them. And the sample papers, if you looked at them critically, the teachers, those of us who are teaching integrated science in the schools, the head teachers who are here, if you can approach your teachers, definitely we know we are preparing students for grade 10, where there are pathways. And we know that in STEM, we are talking like we have 3 subjects in sciences. We have chemistry, we have physics, we have biology, we have general science. Those institutions which do not have adequate infrastructure will be offering the general science. What does that mean? In the sample paper we have given out, the team of scholars in KNEC will be able to, during the reporting, give the strengths of the learners, whether this learner is good in science, biology area, physics area, like that. So what we are saying is this: our reporting mechanisms are since changed. We will be reporting based on the ability of the learners in the different learning areas. And therefore, where subjects have been marked, as you had been informed, at grade 7 to 9, we are teaching them generally so that they can be able to get areas of interest. And from those areas of interest, when we carry out the assessment, we will be able to determine, as teachers, as parents, what your child is good in. And you will be able to use the statistics which will be availed and the reports from KNEC. That is why in that paper you have in your respective schools, we have got the format of the paper. It is composed of the written assessments, short structured questions, essay questions, multiple choice questions. We have performance tasks. We have practical assessments, all of it incorporated depending on the different learning area. Of great importance for us to understand is that when it comes to placement, which is the responsibility of the Ministry of Education. Remember initially when students were selected, we were registering learners at KCB, they were choosing schools for Form 1. That process now is handed over to the Ministry of Education. We are dealing with assessment. But what will determine issues of placement is the achievement test, which we will have offered. Learners also will be given questionnaires so as to establish their areas of interest. We get to know their personalities so that we can be able also to get which pathway. We have also alternative assessments where they will be able to showcase portfolios, like learners who are in stage-based. We will have to acquire a certain skill for them to be moved from pre-technical, from pre-technical to vocational level. Of great importance is that we will be reporting their performance, just like any other assessment. Remember, at KCSE, we are reporting at 12 levels, from A of 12 to E of 1. Those of us who went to Form 4, the old system, KCE, we were reporting from Division 1 to Division 4. Then Z. Okay. Now, we have 8 critical levels which we will be reporting. We will be reporting learners who will be exceeding expectations at grade 8 and 7, meeting expectations at grade 6 and 5, approaching expectations at 4 and 3, and below expectations at 2 at 1. We have thought through the process, and this is the best we shall be using when we will be grading these learners as they transit to grade 10. What we know is this: at the end of every year, at the end of a period, we normally have reports. What we are saying is we have the assessment tools, we have the school year report, which is generated at the school level. What we are tasking stakeholders, parents, is this: no need to go to a bookshop to buy a report form. KNEC has developed the mechanisms of how to report. So it's the responsibility of the head teacher to download this so as to give us each child school year report. There is also a learner's exit profile. We also at KNEC prepare a school-specific report, and schools are expected to prepare individual learners' profile. And then finally, we normally have a competency-based assessment national report every year, which is prepared by the Kenya National Examination Council. Of great importance is ICT is our enabler. The kind of assessments we have been carrying out is in form of census, where we take all the learners. Off the cuff, we also do other assessments for and on behalf of the Ministry of Education. These are informal projects. So what we do, we normally monitor learner achievements at different levels in this country. Through the SEQUI project, we were able to do, before the end of that period, the life of that project, and now we are at KBIL program. And what we are doing at the Kenya National Examination Council is we monitor learner achievements every 3 years. And the table there tells us what exactly we do. When it comes to monitoring learner achievements, we want to find out the intended curriculum which has been established outside an examination context or assessment context. Where are we? How are our learners performing? And we normally sample a total of 250 schools in the entire republic, in all the 47 counties. And we normally prepare reports to that effect. Apart from doing it nationally, we also go regionally. Kenya is not an isolated country. In ZACMEC, which is a conglomeration of countries in Eastern and Southern Africa, we participate in an assessment targeting specific learners at certain level. Like now, we have done it at grade 6, and this is done after every 5 years. We are yet to release the report on that. So what we are saying is that apart from the region, which we have done it for quite some time, and we seem to be performing well, except having challenges with some few countries here and there who are ahead of us, which we need to find out what they have done differently. We will also be going international. We are talking about the international curriculum. We are taking our children outside this country. So we have to catch ourselves with the giants of this world in areas of education. And for the very first time, Kenya will be participating in the month of September in an international program called International Student Assessment, PISA, which is targeting 15-year-old learners in areas of science, reading, and mathematics. That one, it will enable us to know who we are, where we are, and which are some of the interventions we need to put in place. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to note that NEC is not operating on isolation. The government works as a team, and our objective is to deliver as one. We work with all the stakeholders, and we want to thank all of you for enabling the competence-based assessment be successful. Thank you, and God bless you.